Peter Bracamontes was a great family man and loved to fish, so he combined those two things to make some memorable adventures in the past. He also loved to fish in the Western Outdoor News Shootout in the Channel Islands. This year, he had scheduled the trip on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Sadly, he passed away in March. So his kids said, "Is this the end or the beginning?" And they worked hard and put together a trip on the Island Spirit for that very same tournament to honor their father. Anna, Joaquin, and cousin Selena all got their kids and grandkids together, and they had an amazing day out on the water. In fact, you've got to think that Peter was smiling down on them because Anna won the entire tournament with a 19-pound halibut, and Joaquin came in second with a 17-pound halibut. It was a memorable day, and you have to think that Peter was smiling down from above.
You get me on surface iron?
That's Captain Tucker McCombs on board the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, throwing a surface iron at night and having a large white sea bass engulf it. Now Tucker is putting the screws to this sea bass, but hang on. Will he ask for a gaff or is he going to throw it on? Check it out.
Breaking the lure. Promotion. Damn. Stupid wide open.
That's my dear friend Captain Sean Hardigan of the Pegasus, returning from a 3-day trip this morning with an incredible catch. They had 70 bluefin tuna, 50 of those fish in the 100 to 150 pound class. One of those fish weighing in at 200 pounds and the rest weighing 30 to 80 pounds. The best time is the nighttime. Sean says you'll see them in the daytime and catch some kite fish and a few fly line fish, but it's really nothing compared to the night bite. 350, 400 gram jigs seem to have been working best of all. Daiwa SK is a good jig to be using right now. So are the West Coast Jiggers HD lures, but it seems like everything's working, including eddy bombs. Great fishing, big fish, and an incredible trip on board the Pegasus for my good friend Captain Sean Hardigan. Let's keep it rolling. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, here at daybreak on Monday morning. It is great to be with you all. We have got so much to cover with you south of the border. Of course, here in the LA Orange County area, those big bluefin tuna, white sea bass, and so much more. On the lead in, you saw that precious story about Peter and his kids up there on the Island Spirit, keeping his memory alive. And I should tell you also that Eddie Berrigan and his daughter Bella were on board that trip also. And Eddie was helping to rig the kids up. And Joaquin said, what should I do? How should I tie up? And Eddie said, why don't you tie up exactly the way your dad Peter used to tie up? And of course, you saw the story. Great stuff with Anna catching that giant big halibut to win the Western Outdoor News Shootout, and Joaquin right behind her with the second place halibut. Great stuff. What a great memory. That's what fishing is all about. All right, these guys are going crazy behind me here this morning, putting the wood to the surf fish, as surf fishing has also been good. I've already heard from the Amigo this morning. They're at San Clemente Island, dropper loop fishing for yellowtail. They've got 10 big yellows on the boat. I just talked to Sean Hardigan on board the Pegasus, and they're looking for a kelp down south of San Diego this morning for some dorado and yellowtail. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, is that good or what? And it is so great to be with you all. If you don't mind, hit that like button. Please share these videos with a friend. Of course, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and also make sure that you tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We have 1,000 more subscribers there, thousands more subscribers there, and thousands and thousands and thousands of views. It's so great to be able to come to you on all our social media, in addition to the YouTube channel. Well, let's start out south of the border, and we'll take you down to Ensenada, 70 miles below the border, and there is some darn good fishing going on down there. Berenice Soto, that is Paulina's mom. Paulina's my co-host in Mexico. When I'm down in that neck of the woods, she's fantastic. I don't know where she was on this trip, but Mom and Foca put the wood to them. They had nice yellowtail fishing with 5 yellows down there. Nothing wrong with that. Baja fishing, check out the calico bass fight. They also had a yellow there and some other stuff to go along with it, but superior calico bass fishing, as we have been mentioning to you, down there in Baja right now. On board with the guys over there at Blackfin and Puta Banda, they continue to catch flurries of barracuda, some big bonita, bluefin tuna. Yeah, there's still bluefin tuna, and you just seen the beginning of it. This is going to go on through November, if you want my humble opinion on the bluefin tuna bite out of Ensenada. So many different species biting right now. Sand bass also, and you can load up on the rockfish on just about any given day. Great fishing in Ensenada. You should think about heading down there. By the way, we do have some spotter plane information, 150 to 200 pound bluefin tuna. Pretty big schools of that stuff still swimming up from Mexican waters into U.S. waters. So this is a long way from over, and this is going to be a fall to remember because things have been kind of slow getting started this year, but man, it's rolling now, and it's only going to get more intense as we go along. At least that's what I'm thinking. All right, we continue to see great long-range fishing. The Independence is down 400 or 500 miles, and they've had great wahoo fishing. They've had great yellowtail fishing. They've had great yellowfin tuna fishing, and they are having the time of their life. Captain Brian Pfeiffer said it has been a dream trip. Perfect weather, a variety of fish, and they're all biting really, really well. Independence out of Point Loma sport fishing. What a great trip they are having. So good to see that. All right, we saw some good fishing again last night on the big fish. Remember, the big fish are up here near San Clemente Island, near Tanner Cortez Bank, some of it out towards San Nicolas Island. It's been really good on big fish. And perhaps that is the biggest understatement of my life. Really good. It is fantastic fishing with boats catching like 50 fish over 100 pounds. That happened on the Pegasus on a 3-day trip the other day. The Royal Star's on that fish. Several other boats are on it, like the American Angler. It was flat great fishing, and it remains that way, and I just don't see that slowing down. Dale Shaw, he really wanted to get out and catch a bluefin tuna over 100 pounds. He jumped on board the Pacific Dawn, and at 11 p.m. at night, the fishing went wide open. Great fishing going on. And he said, here's my chance. I'm finally going to get my 100-plus pound bluefin tuna. And what happens? He lands a 45-pound bluefin tuna. But he didn't say that's it. He kept fishing hard. His next fish, 218 pounds. His next fish, 119 pounds on board the Pacific Dawn. I don't know how it can get any better than that. Are these guys getting them or what? I'm thinking they are. You guys keep me in touch with the very latest. Over under 6 starting right now. I don't know if he's going to make it today. By the way, at the end of today's report, don't go anywhere. Live on the Island Spirit, Daniel Hottaway, the captain of the Island Spirit, with Channel Island update, including white sea bass, barracuda, calico bass, sand bass, and a lot more great information at the end of today's report. You are going to see that. I don't know if this guy's on a big fish or on, looks like kelp to me right now. So we'll continue to watch that for you. Stay tuned for Daniel as he will be coming up. On the Highliner, Evan Leeper with a 180-pound bluefin tuna. How does it get any better than that? Fishing a 300-gram Daiwa SK jig. Really great, Evan. Way to go. He's a 540 Slingers Club member, and he's a great guy. And Evan has taken to the sport of sport fishing and doing such a great job. We are seeing nothing short of outstanding fishing going on. These guys are yelling and hooting behind me, so I had to turn around and check it out. Game changer. Really great fishing going on for those guys. You know, they had the geriatric crew on there, Larry Brown and some other guys, but man, the guys on the Game Changer said, these guys can fish. Limits a big bluefin tuna for their 3-day trip. And that doesn't count the fish they released. Great job for the old guys. All of them in their 70s. One guy pushing 80, putting the wood to the fish. Old guys rule, no question about it. So really, some great bluefin tuna fishing going on. We take a look at the 1-day range, and it's hit and miss, no question about it. When I say 1 day, I should say full day, okay? I'll get into what's going on with the kelps here in a second, but full day bluefin tuna. San Diego yesterday with 10 bluefin tuna and a couple of yellowtail for them. So every day is different. They had a day just a couple of days ago with 60 bluefin tuna. Now, a lot of times that fish is biting the 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon with a fly line bait. Nose hook bait works really well. A small circle hook has been working well, but sometimes they get really finicky and you're going to want to drop down to 25 pounds. So keep that in mind to make things happen for you. All right, 1-day boats. Now, this fish up here around Clemente and Nicholas, it's too far for a day trip. And unless you're running a reverse day and a half trip, it's probably too far also. So guys are going south now, and they're finding kelps that are holding yellowtail and dorado, and they're doing pretty darn well on that stuff. On the T-Bird, our friend KJ from Mac 12 Swim Bait said there was a lot of boat pressure on those kelps, so they ended up with, just around 20 yellowtail. It sounded like, not wide open by any stretch of the imagination, but they picked at the fish. They decided, let's get out of here and go down below a little bit further and see if we can find a kelp holding some dorado. KJ got his limit of dorado, which is 2 fish. They ended up with about 15 on the flatheads down there, so that's a good sign. And KJ said they had 71-degree water. Where is that yellowfin tuna? That should be popping in here very soon. Sean Hardigan's on the Pegasus, and they've got their binocs on right now. They got a guy up in the stick, and they're looking for kelps as we speak. Hopefully, they are going to find one. The Pacific Queen, 22 anglers, 110 yellowtail, and 6 dorado. So our warm water species is starting to develop, seeing more and more of that flathead, more dorado every single day. And as we push further into summer and into the fall, that could get insane. I think you're going to have a mix of yellowfin tuna on the coast with dorado and these yellowtail, the bluefin offshore, the albacore prediction going up in smoke once again. But if we have that going on here in Southern California, we just add another layer of just fantastic fishing to what already is world-class fishing with these giant bluefin tuna. So much going on. Tax problems. You got to call Tim Marquez at A Best Income Tax. Tim's a great guy. He's been doing this for 35 years. Give him a call today. And if you have heating and or air conditioning needs, you're going to want to call John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. So we are seeing some really good stuff, no doubt about it. And once again, man, let me re-emphasize to you that LA Orange County-based boats are on that big tuna. It's closer for those guys. El Dorado's had some magnificent catches here recently out of Long Beach sport fishing. Really, really good stuff. The Amigo the other day had 6 bluefin tuna in addition to some good yellowtail action. I think he had 29 yellows on his last trip. And as we just mentioned to you, just talked to him a moment ago here at daybreak. 5:30 in the morning, they had 10 yellows. So they're still going. They may put together even a better score on that stuff. So really, really great stuff. Really great fishing on that big bluefin tuna. And Clemente with those big dropper loop yellows in the morning. There's live squid there. It has been great also. Let's go to the Coronado Islands right now, right outside of San Diego, California, where the yellowtail bite has been fabulous. Had a lot of boat pressure on it this weekend. That should come roaring back again here today. Not that it was bad. 63 yellowtail on board the Mission Belle out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. They have had some great scores. Their best score here recently, 88 on the yellowtail mix in terms of the size of fish, like from 8 to 20 plus pounds. It has flat been great fishing. Fly line bait, yo-yo iron, surface iron. It's all working really well over there at the Coronado Islands. And of course, there's some good calico bass fishing should you want to do that. There's some barracuda flurries, but everybody's pretty much focused in on those yellows right now. 25 pound with a number, I want to say 2 J hook working really well on those yellows, but you can bump that hook size up when they start firing up and biting to a 102, 30 size hook. You just have to judge the intensity of the bite to see what's going on. A lot of kelp here, it looks like, so that can become a pain in the you-know-what. San Clemente Island, as we mentioned, the Amigos already off to the races. The Fury had the Turner's guys out. Turner's Rod and Reel Club, Mendel, Yano, and a bunch of other great guys with 23 yellowtail, white sea bass, and a sheep's head and rockfish and that kind of thing. El Dorado on a recent trip with 31 yellowtail. Nothing wrong with that. Thunderbird, 4 white sea bass, 31 yellowtail over there at San Clemente Island. And they too, he has a fish in that mess. They too are catching fish here this morning. So everybody's off to the races. You know, that squid that they're using for bait, you know, that's a magnet. It's just a magnet for game fish, halibut, white sea bass, yellowtail, other species also come in to feed on that. And then the sport fishing boats exploit that by being in the right place at the right time. Really great stuff going on, no question about it. If you want to go to Catalina Island, do it on a limited load trip. Do it on the El Patron. They provide such great customer service. And the bass bite at Catalina Island is incredible right now. And you also have a chance to catch some yellowtail. El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Don't forget, at the end of the report, stick around. You'll hear Daniel Hottaway from the Island Spirit giving you a Channel Island update as we talk to him live from the Island Spirit yesterday. They had some really good fishing. Let's go to Catalina Island and let's go to the El Patron. Limits of calico bass yesterday. Nice hit for them. Really good bass fishing going on at Cat. Pristine conditions and a chance at some yellowtail here and there. And also you can catch some shallow water rockfish, but these guys are pretty focused on surface fishing right now. That's what they want to do, and that's what they continue to focus their attention on. Up in the Channel Islands, there's still that possibility of a big white sea bass bite. And what about Tucker McCombs chucking that big sea bass on board in the lead-in? That was a fabulous short, man. I saw that, and I was just like, way to go, Tucker. That is freaking awesome. Bouncing a big white sea bass like that. Scores up there, you know, you're seeing some decent signal on the white sea bass. But, man, it just has not turned on yet. It's going to be a late season up there. I have no doubt that all that fish is going to turn on. And we continue. Whoa, they're biting back there. We continue to see some really excellent fishing going on the beach also. But first of all, let me give you a couple of scores from up that way. Mirage, not bad. 9 halibut, 10 white sea bass, 3 yellowtail rockfish to go along with that. Aloha Spirit with 3 halibut, 3 white sea bass to go along with that. Some pretty darn good fishing, if you ask me. And hopefully the amount of sea bass that we're seeing up there is finally going to settle in and bite here one of these days. Very, very soon. Plenty of squid, and you can see there's been some occasional big hits here recently on the fish. Really, really big hits and really, really great fishing. But overall, they remain finicky. The white sea bass, the exotics, that is, the halibut, white sea bass, yellowtail, and most of the time you can fall back on some really excellent rock fishing, no doubt about that. All right, let's get into the local bite. Before we do, I'll remind you all to put in FA at checkout when you go to promarahi.com. They've got a brand new fluorocarbon out called GT4. It's fantastic. You get more line for less money, and when you get that 10% off, you save even more. When you go to promarahi.com, put in FA at checkout. Down in San Diego, as we have been mentioning, some pretty good calico bass fishing for the local boats. May not be every single day, but for the most part, it's been outstanding calico bass fishing. And you always want to fish lighter line and choose a good hot bait to make it happen. But check out, nice white sea bass on board the new Seaforth. There's that sprinkling of sea bass and yellowtail. We've seen it down there on a fairly regular basis. So when you're going on one of the local boats out of San Diego right now, you've got a very good chance of an exotic or two up there around Oceanside. They're picking at the bass. Same thing at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. We continue to see some good bass fishing there. A lot of catch and release going on, but nothing wrong with that. Here in the LA Orange County area, while we have had some flurries on the sand bass, man, we are missing our sand bass season, the migratory fish. We're just not quite seeing it quite yet. So hopefully that's going to get going here very, very soon. We're hoping for that barracuda and that sand bass picking away at the sand and calico bass. Some days are pretty good, like on the Monte Carlo, Native Sun, Both those boats out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. And other days they fall back on sculpin, whitefish, and rockfish. And that's kind of weird. I mean, that just shows us how behind we are, how kind of delayed this season is, that we're still catching that sculpin and whitefish and that kind of stuff here in the LA Orange County area. Up there in the Santa Monica Bay, same kind of a situation. Their nighttime twilight fishing out of Redondo and Marina del Rey, however, has been quite good. Bass fishing, mostly calico and seabass at night, and it's been pretty darn good. No doubt about that. More sandbass starting to show up in the Channel Islands, but far from wide open. Calico bass and some good barracuda flurries, most of that out at the local islands like Anacapa or Cruz. That barracuda bite, of course, you're going to want to be using the iron. Don't forget Daniel Hadaway coming up on the Island Spirit with a more in-depth Channel Island report for you. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to love fishing on the Island Spirit. She is such a great boat, such a great rig. Get on the Island Spirit by calling 805-676-3474. They have room for you tomorrow, probably be a light load. It should be another fabulous day on board the Island Spirit. You can also book by going to www.venturasportfishing.com. So some really great stuff going on. Hey, I should tell you, there's a boat called the Endeavor. It runs out of Morro Bay, and the guys from Stupid Bait, Stoopid, I think, had some great lingcod fishing up there and up in the San Francisco Bay area. Man, tremendous fishing on halibut up there right now. Off the hook halibut fishing, catching your 2-fish limit up there has not been a problem. They had 25 guys on the new Huck fin here recently with limits of halibut and limits of striped bass. It can't get much better than that. This guy's getting his steps in here this morning. Really, really fun stuff. All right, so some good local stuff up and down the coast, an occasional good hit on the white sea bass and that kind of thing. And hopefully that is going to continue. My friends, on the surf, well, you can see some of what's going on here. There's a whole bunch of guys here, by the way, this morning. And that's just a testament how good this yellowfin croaker fishing has been for probably 2 weeks now. It's been outstanding. These guys are using bloodworms to get the most bites. And you can get your bait like bloodworms down at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. That's 5 minutes from here on the corner of Seal Beach and PCH. And man, I'll tell you, you go in there, you get all the bait you need. They've got tackle for everything from trout to bluefin tuna and everything in between. Great tackle store, great place, and they're giving away a free custom rod every single month. So all you got to do is go in there, buy the ruler that they sell. You have to have uniformity with regard to the ruler that everybody's using, and then they'll give you all the rules, how to upload your photo to Instagram and win that custom rod. Not just one time, but every single month. A new fish. So this month it's spot fin croaker. The largest spot fin takes the rod. Next month it'll be another species, but it's every single month. And it's free. So what are you doing? Get to Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Good Corbina fishing in many beaches down there around Huntington Beach. We see some really good bean fishing. Josh Giselle up there in the Santa Monica Bay fishing around Redondo. Really good Corbina fishing up in that neck of the woods. So we're seeing that. A little bit of halibut still in SoCal surfing. There's been some barred perch around still biting pretty well. We see it down on Dog Beach, Huntington Beach, down on the border there. We've seen some good surf fishing action going on. So really great stuff indeed as it continues to progress and head in the right direction. All right, the sun is coming up. Another fish in the background. These guys are putting the wood to them. Great surf fishing, great tuna fishing. Guys looking for kelps. The Amigo's got fish already. What a video with Peter smiling down on his kids from above. That bouncing that giant white sea bass, Tucker McCombs. Man, there's just way too much going on. Hey, thank you so much for making time to be with us here, as always, on the morning briefing. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. No tackle shop confessions tonight. Sam De La Torre off camping with his kids and wife, so they're having a really good time. But we will have more programming today. Don't miss a minute of it, and you can be notified when there's new content when you tick that little bell. Don't forget, you can really help us a lot by purchasing some Friedman Adventures merchandise, new hats, shirts, and so much more. Please, if you can, purchase a hat or some shirts today. We would deeply appreciate your support by doing that. Daniel Hadaway coming up next. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Man, it sounds like you had some great summertime fishing today.
Yeah, absolutely. We had our kids fish free Sunday today. A handful of kids on the boat. They all got to catch their first fish. Pretty cool. One of our kids caught himself a nice white sea bass. So that was really cool to see as well. Got a bunch of barracuda, a bunch of calico bass, a few sand bass, a couple hundred rockfish. A lot of variety. I think there was like 8 or 9 different.
Man, that is fantastic. Tell me a little bit about the circumstances around the young man who caught the white sea bass. Did he do it by himself? Did he have someone helping him? What was the deal with him?
Yeah, him and his dad did it together. We're throwing on barracuda left and right, and then we see a father and son team fighting one that looked a little bit heavier. And yeah, sure enough, a nice sea bass popped up, and they were stoked. We were really happy too. Super
Oh
cool.
my God. Yeah, heck yeah, man. I saw the photo. In fact, a little teaser there. I'm going to use it for the morning briefing thumbnail tomorrow. Because I
There
love
you go.
anytime I see father son kind of a thing. It takes me back to when my kids were young, and now with a grandson, it won't be much longer, and he'll be fishing with us also. By the way, let's see.
Yeah.
Dan Lightfoot says they are ready to go. Steve Bermuda says any white sea bass today, and of course we just covered that. And Daniel Lightfoot says good afternoon. Cue Ball is here, and he's happy to be along with us. Did you see evidence of any more white sea bass, or do you feel like that was a one-off, or what do you think?
No, there was some evidence. There's a good amount of bait around, and we hooked a few of them. We were fishing in kind of heavy structures, so we unfortunately did lose the other couple that we hooked. But yeah, definitely a good sign of it around. The water's as warm as it's been all year, and yeah, it's shaping up to be a good week here.
Yeah, heck yeah. And you also mentioned barracuda and bass. How was that bite? Characterize that for us. All right, Jack Sepulveda is here with us. He says, good afternoon. Phil and Daniel, live free, die free, says good afternoon to us. And man, it's great. We got a whole bunch of people here tuning in with us this lovely
Yeah,
Sunday afternoon. So, what are you? Are you heading home right now, or are you close to the docks?
yeah, we're about half an hour from home here, half an hour, 40 minutes from home. So gave everyone a little bonus time since there was some sea bass swimming around, trying to get a couple more. But yeah, super fun day.
Any ironfish with the barracuda?
Absolutely, they were chewing the iron a little bit. Um, Even got them on hookup baits, flukes. They were biting pretty good.
So you said the water's the warmest it's been all year. What is it exactly? I'm going to guess. Let me see if I'm anywhere in the ballpark. I'll say 66.
A little warmer.
Oh wow, really?
It's my favorite number.
I don't want to say it. I might get kicked off YouTube. I'll go with 68.
1 degree warmer than that. It was
I kind of figured that. Okay.
yeah, it was warm.
Wow, you guys are up to 70-degree water up there, man. That opens the door to all kinds of great stuff. And I guess, I'm just guessing, that bass fight is probably going to get better and better in that warm water.
Absolutely, yeah. They were boiling around all over the boat. Some of the bass we were catching had followers. They had like a little wolf pack of bass following them in. So really good sign of that stuff. And there was some that are really good quality as well.
Hey, Q Ball's asking, what happened with the squid this year? What about the lack of squid? Are you seeing any more?
There's some squid around now. I mean, guys are able to make bait as far as the overnight fleet goes, and there's a little bit of squid around locally. See the squid guys are getting busy. Looks like I always see the seiners coming in full and plenty of light boats around. There's definitely squid moving in.
Maybe just late this year, huh?
Yeah, it works out that way sometimes, but there is a good amount of squid all over the place.
All right. So tackle wise, are we, if we're coming up to the Island Spirit, are we going to be tackling up for a combo type trip, like surface rockfish type trip?
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you have your heavy sinkers, like 16 ounces. I'd probably put a couple like 6 ounce sinkers, maybe something even as light as 4 ounces in your bag. I've been fishing some very, very shallow water. For the halibut drifting, you're going to want a 4 or 6 ounce sinker and a really small hook. We got a mix of sardine and anchovy, and the anchovy's really little, but it gets bit really well. Want to bring your number 4 hooks, number 2 hooks, and then maybe some 1.0 and 2.0 J hooks as well for the bigger sardine.
Right on. Cue Ball's really excited to hear about the followers. He said, man, that's when they're fired up and they're ready to bite. And that is so true. That is really bitching to see that. Any signal on flatties? You've had some nice halibut here recently. And, you know, we need to drop. Well, go ahead. And then I'll ask my next question. You seen any halibut?
Yeah, we didn't catch one today, but we were on a good little streak there, picking at least one all of last week, pretty much. But yeah, definitely halibut around. Wouldn't really say we tried super hard to catch one today. We didn't really do a halibut drift or anything, but there has been halibut kind of around the kelp lines and stuff in the sandy bottom. So you always got a shot at catching one when we're fishing for barracuda and bass and all that good stuff.
Excellent stuff. Really, really good. More people jumping on the show. Daniel Lightfoot wants to know if you have any anchovies for bait.
We do. We have a mix of anchovy and sardine. It's like a 50-50 mix, kind of. So you can use whichever one you want. It's really nice for us to have anchovy to chum. It really gets the bass and barracuda all fired up. You can chum a lot more, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. And a ton of people with great questions. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, everybody. Live free, die free says he wants to come up there and fish with you in August. Is that a time when you might catch sea bass? He wants to know.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always gonna try. We're always gonna check the kelp line, see if we can't get an exotic. We're not like the day boats that just go catch a little bit of rockfish and then get in at the posted return time. Really want to put some effort into trying to get you guys to catch some cool stuff. And if we get in late, we get in late. We're gonna try our butts off to catch some nice stuff.
No, I love it, man. Cue Ball's happy to hear that you got the pizza topping along with the sardine for bait now with the anchovy. Hey, you know what? We haven't gone live since you took the Western Outdoor News Shootout the other day. You got first and
That's
second
true.
place. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. So the shootout was a tournament between the 3 day boats that have interest sport fishing. We had 19 nice anglers. Had one big family on the boat, and 2 of them ended up catching the winners, first and second place. Hasn't really been much sea bass around at the time. We haven't really seen anything as far as sea bass goes, so we thought the game plan for hopefully winning the thing would be to catch a nice halibut. So spent the first few hours of our day drifting for halibut, and yeah, I mean for 10 hookups we caught 6 of them, and yeah, a few of them were really nice. So we were happy to get the win.
Yeah, nice going, man. I was pulling for you all the way, and I'm happy to see that. And you'll be interested to know that I know a little bit about that story, about that family, because I just put together a nice 1-minute piece about that family
Awesome.
and that special day on the Island Spirit. Eddie Berrigan and Bella sent me some information, and that was a beautiful thing. You don't have to talk about it right now because I'm going to release it tomorrow. Go ahead if you like, but it sounded like the story behind the trip was really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. We won't go into that. You'll have your clip on it tomorrow, but yeah, it was the siblings. I believe their names are Joaquin and Anna. They're super nice people. I got to talk to both of them, and yeah, they were coming out in honor of their dad, and we're super happy that they got the win.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. It sounds like Peter was smiling down from the heavens on both of them on that day. Hey, Live Free, Die Free says, I got to ask you, what do you think about albacore this year? That albacore dope that we had, that sounds like bum dope right now at this point, right? That never materialized.
Yeah, I never heard anything about it, but you never know. who knows if somebody actually went out there or not. So could be.
Yeah. Do you have a feel for that, or just not really?
I don't know. I mean, trust me, no one's. Well, you're probably rooting for it more than I am, but I'd be super excited to see it happen. I was born in 2000, so I've never seen an albacore with my eyeballs. I mean, I've seen one, but I've never caught one. In the time that I started fishing when I was like 8, 9 years old, I never got to catch an albacore. So I'm pretty excited to see it happen.
Yeah, for sure. Man, you just made me feel officially really ancient. Born in 2000, huh? Jeez. All right. Hey, Q Ball says it's super exciting when the honest boats, half and three-quarter day boats, get into the exotics. I mean, overnight is supposed to be where that happens, but it's great to see you guys get the exotics also. You guys get those exotics pretty regularly, don't you?
Yeah, I'd say we would probably have more trips where we get some kind of an exotic than when we don't. I mean, I try to at least go inside and drift for a halibut if nothing else is going on. At the end of each day, been doing well on them. Try real hard to get a trophy fish here and there to make somebody happy.
That's great. Daniel, we lost your video for some reason. If you want to re-add, you can do that, and I'll kill some time while you do that. But if not, you can just hang on because we can hear you loud and clear for sure.
Right on. I'll re-add real quick. I'm
Okay,
frozen.
Daniel's going to re-add everybody. He's frozen up for a second. That gives me an opportunity to remind you all that we will have lots more content tomorrow night. Of course, Tackle Shop Confessions with Sam De La Torre. That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that show as always. Morning briefing in the morning, and of course, we'll have lots more for you as you go along. Daniel is about to add again, so hang on. We'll go back out right now to the Island Spirit. There's Daniel one more time. Hey, Daniel,
Yeah,
I'm thinking we should talk about the opportunities coming up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What's coming up this week?
absolutely. We are guaranteed to go tomorrow. I think we got about 18 people signed up, so it's a super light load. And Tuesday we need a few more people. Wednesday we need a few more people, but we'd love to get out on all those days. If you guys want to, do some of that fun surface fishing on a really big boat with a super light load, great opportunity coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. So you can come fishing with us by calling Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. That phone number is 805 676 3474. Or you can just book on our website. It's venturasportfishing.com.
All right, good stuff. Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slingers Club joins us and says, hello, Phil and Captain Daniel. Jeff, always
Good afternoon.
good to see you. Jack Sepulveda says, Phil, we need to get you a backdrop for your garage. Yeah, I know. We'll work. I actually have one, but I'm too lazy to put it up sometimes. Just have to go with the way it is. There you go, Jack. You just look at my ugly face now. We'll blot everything else out. Hey, and you know what? When you say big boat, that boat is so roomy. It's ridiculous. And I always like to, some of us guys have trouble squeezing up and down the rail when there's a guy with a fish. That just never comes into play on board the
Yeah.
Island Spirit.
Yeah, you can have three people shimmy by each other, no problem. With how much room we have up the sides, bow's spacey. The stern deck has tons of room. Like today, we had 44 passengers, and it did not feel like a terrible crowd. It was totally fine. Fishing's comfortable, especially when we're surface fishing. There's plenty of room. Guys can throw jigs in the bow. People can fish their dropper loops up the side, and then for the handful of people that can fly line a bait, they had all the room they needed on the stern. So it works out. The boat's big, and it feels even bigger than it is.
Yeah, that's 100% true. How's your weather up there, by the way?
Pretty nice. We had really nice flat calm weather all day. It's a little windy on the way in, but didn't really affect us any. And weather looks nice the next few days as well.
All right, great. So opportunities on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the whole week. You can jump on the Island Sphere. It sounds like you might get a light load also. Daniel, anything else we need to mention? Anybody out there has a final question? Get it in before we say goodbye to Daniel. What else, Daniel? Anything, man? It's almost 70-degree water. That is freaking amazing, man.
Yeah, no. The other thing is, there's been some sand bass in our counts as well. We've been catching a handful of sand bass every day. I think we had a couple days in a row with 20 something. Didn't really have like condition for it today, but caught a few. So there'll be some opportunity for that as well. There is some sand bass that want to bite a little bit, and it's something we can do on the way out to kind of break up our ride at Island. So if you guys are into that, there will be a opportunity at some sand bass as well before you get to the island.
Oh, that's bitching. So you fish the beach a little bit and see if they want to bite, and then shoot to the island
Yeah,
after that.
exactly. Just a quick little pit stop to see if they want to chew a little bit.
All right, rock and roll, man. What can I tell you? Another great trip on the Island Spirit. Hey, Ray Smith. Ray, I don't know if I've ever seen you here. Welcome, my friend. Besides live bait, what jigs are good for bass? Excellent question, Ray, and you asked the right man. Daniel?
Yeah. The white flukes that we use for catching sea bass and halibut have been getting bit by calico bass. If you have a 7-inch white fluke, that works perfect. Seen guys have been catching them on plastics. There's some very devoted bass fishermen that just try to catch the calico bass on plastics the whole time, and they've been getting plenty of bites. Just like that gentleman that was on the trip with us on the 4th of July. I don't know how many bass he caught fishing that little green plastic, but he was killing them.
He was killing them back there in the stern. I watched that.
Yeah. And then they'll bite the surface iron too. We've been catching some bass while barracuda fishing on like Tatty 45s. I think that's been the go-to jig, but any kind of soft plastic will work, white fluke will work, surface iron will work. They once they get going and they're hungry, they're not too picky.
All right, and Ray Smith says, thank you for that answer, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
All right, Chevy says, where y'all from? We're talking to Daniel Hadaway. He runs the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. And I'm kind of in the
Yes,
LA
sir.
area, Huntington Beach, Seal Beach area. But I'm not the important one here. Daniel is. He's up there on board the Island Spirit. Let's see, what else? Steve Bermuda says, hit that like button. And I Soto says, man, did anyone say bass fishing? And the answer is yes, calicos and sand bass on the beach. That's all starting to come together. Summertime bite is looking really, really good right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be trying for it every day. So come on out with us and get you some bass.
All right, and as you know, everybody, Daniel's supposed to be in at the docks at 4 o'clock, but he lies every single day and always shows up a little later because he gives you your money's worth. Hey, Daniel, I'm going to let you run, my friend. Always great to see you. Happy Sunday. Glad you had a great trip. That's wonderful with the kid with the white sea bass. And
Absolutely.
hopefully you get a bunch of people to join you this coming week because it looks like it's really good fishing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Phil. Good talking to you guys. And have a great evening.
You take great care.
Alrighty. Goodbye.